Hey there, welcome everybody. Good evening. Glad to have you join for the live stream tonight. Hope your weekend was grand and that you're having a great week so far. Oh, I got a little blurry. There I am. Welcome, welcome. Feel free, as always, to chime in the conversation this evening. We will be painting. Well, I'll be painting. You'll be watching, but glad to have you all and hope everything is going well. As always, the live stream is a kind of open house, so pop in, pop out. Feel free to say hello, contribute to the conversation, make comments, ask questions, and enjoy the live stream. So good to see some of the regulars here. Lola, so good to see you as always. Thank you for joining. Hope you will enjoy this painting that I'm doing this evening. Hope you had a great Labor Day. And I have some friends that have been visiting Michigan, actually up on the UP, and kind of looks like still some beautiful weather, but I'm sure like your part of the country, or like my part of the country, your part of the country, we're about to head into fall and quickly after that winter. So hope you're enjoying the last few probably days, weeks of summer weather and had a great Labor Day holiday to kind of wrap up the summer. All right, well, we are going to get started this evening, and hopefully we'll have some more people jump in. I decided to do Tuesday evening. I had done Monday last week, but obviously since the holiday here in the States, I thought we would do this evening. We may bump days here and there, but I'm going to try to do at least one live stream a week here on out, just to keep myself accountable. I'm trying to paint nearly every day, not on camera obviously, but trying to keep that painting process going. And I'm developing some real kind of stringent goals, or not stringent, but pretty specific goals in the development of my paint ability and my paint process over the next several months. So focusing on that pretty much every day, trying to get some painting in. All right, so this evening we are going to be starting. Let me get my palette up here. Whoops, I meant to do. Nope, that's not what I meant to do. That's what I meant to do. We are going to be working on some sunflowers. I found this painting, or this photo in my Facebook reference photo group, and just thought it was really well composed. I had to actually look at it to make sure it wasn't somebody else's painting, but it is actually a photo, so it's very well composed, and I'm excited to give an attempt to this painting, or this photo this evening. So this is what we're going to be working on. You'll be able to see it there. I have it here on my screen, but that way you can kind of see what I am painting as I paint. So let's get started. I did want to show you, I think, a painting that I worked on offline this week. A friend of mine, Kelly, had posted a picture on Instagram that was a beautiful seaside photo of a lighthouse and seaside. And so I worked on this painting this week. I think it turned out really nicely. I still have some detail work I want to put in on it, but it turned out really nice and is a beautiful picture of the seacoast with a small lighthouse there on the peninsula. So this was a fun painting I did this week. If you follow on Instagram, or if you don't follow on Instagram, you definitely should, so you can keep track of what I'm painting. I post the things that I'm painting actively, as well as process photos, so you can kind of see how they come together. So definitely follow on Instagram if you are not. All right, let's get going here. Without further ado, we've given people time to join in. hopefully more people. Oh, now I am, let's see if I can get the camera to focus. I don't know if it's going to focus on me. Well, then we will just bring it right in here. Actually, let me see if I can arrange this before we get going. Bring this, sorry to make you all sick. Let me get this in here, try to position it as well as I can. All right, good deal. Okay, whoops. I hope that will work for us all. It's a little tight here with my tripod bouncing or kind of straddling the tripod. Someday I'll have a camera that I can zoom without having to have the tripod right up in my business. But until then, we will make it work. So let's go ahead, and what I'm going to do first is I think I am going to sketch in kind of some of the major parts of this picture or this painting, so we can kind of make sure the composition is good. So let's kind of, I'm taking some burnt umber and some white, mixing that just so I have a light burnt umber basically. And I have kind of pre-treated this canvas panel board with a mixture of burnt umber and white to give it kind of a, doesn't show too much on the screen, but kind of a peachy color, just so I have kind of a foundation to start with. So I did do that ahead of starting the live stream this evening. So you can see some of the color there, but let's actually go in here and kind of see where we want to place the main parts of this painting. Let's just kind of put this in a little bit. So I think right in here is where we want the base of the vase. So that'll be an important marker. And then let's kind of give us some basic shape. At least that's kind of what my eye is telling me. So we'll kind of adjust it. I think this is a little high, so we should probably bring it down here. That way, I think, is more accurate. So we'll correct that. But this will give us we'll get this in, and then we'll be able to tell if we're on the right track. So we'll put this center of this sunflower is kind of the center of the eye of what's drawing our eye upward. We'll do kind of like that. This feels pretty good to me. Let me know what you guys think. If you see anything that's way off, it's a little skewed because the camera angle is not directly straight on, is it? So actually, maybe I can do, there we go, maybe that'll help. Not really, but we will just using large, really undefined strokes at this point. All right, that's the basic composition there. Let's see if I can stretch this back a little bit so you can see the full thing. There we go. Or I really need a stool that's on wheels. My easel's on wheels, so I can always move that back. Okay. There we go. All right. Thank you, thank you. Looks good. Okay. So now what I want to do is rinse out my brush. Where's my, put my little towel here, clean, rinse out my brush, and then I think I want to do some, trying to figure out how photorealist I want to go. Like how much do I want to, or do I want to do more impressionist style, big, loose brush strokes, or do I want to try to be more detailed? Would love your opinions. What do you all think? Should we do this one more impressionist, less precise, I guess? I'm mixing here just a little ultramarine blue with the burnt umber. What I'm trying to get here is kind of a shadow tone. So I want to come in here into the low spots and put in some shadows that we see there. As I start putting these in, I think I'm kind of answering some of my own question. I really like kind of the broader, brighter strokes with less definition. So maybe we'll play with that. We'll see. There's definitely this, on the right-hand side, there's a very pretty precise line that comes down. So I think I'm going to put that in just because it's so definitely part of the composition. All right, we'll see how that goes. I am getting, I think, far too specific. So, okay, I'm going to stop there. Let me see now. What I want to do is put in some of this. Let me get some more brown here. Hey there, Polygator. Thanks for popping in. Appreciate our Twitch folks always popping into the live stream, watching what we're painting. I have a hard time with Impressionist. Yeah, Lola, that's one of the reasons I'm thinking I want to do this one with looser brush strokes, because I noticed even as I was doing that I was doing loose brush strokes, but I was also getting I was trying to get really precise instead of staying loose in the brush strokes. So it is going well. We just got started, and so we're discussing whether we want this painting of the reference photo you see in the right-hand part of your screen, if we want to do how photorealist we want to go with the painting. So when I started painting about a year ago, I was really focused on developing my skills to try to be as photorealist as possible. But now I'm wanting to develop skills in other areas. So I am, yeah, so that's kind of the discussion going on in the comments here. So let's see. What I am doing here in my head is, instead of drawing, I'm trying to go in and actually just put shapes. So I am looking where I see shadows, and I'm trying to just kind of plug those in, if that makes sense. So I'm looking for the darkest spots. And just kind of alluding to those. And we'll see how that then renders. I do think I want this to be, it's not in the reference photo, but I do want this to be darker over here, just so that the eye is naturally drawn up to the okay. And then this would be the brightest corner. So we have some kind of the darkest spots. Now let's go in. I think the other way to do this, I am just using a it's about a 1 inch, maybe 1.5 inch brush. So it's fairly large for the painting we're doing. I hope it goes well. Would it be easier for you? Actually, I don't care either way. Wherever you want to watch. YouTube is where I natively stream, but my software streams there, Facebook and Twitch all at the same time, and the comments all come to one place. So, but if you want to kind of keep apprised of what I'm doing, if you're interested at all in my learning to paint process, YouTube is where I post that. I also vlog there, as well as Instagram. I post pictures of what I'm doing throughout the week. So completely up to you. You are just fine on Twitch though. Not a problem. Okay, so now what I want to do is go in and I want to kind of jump to a different part of the painting so I don't get stuck in one place, because it's easy, I think, this is what my brain is thinking, it's easy to start in one spot and then start putting too much detail in. So I'm trying something different. Actually, I watched a video this week about how to blend a black color, and this other painter used phthalo blue, which is kind of more a sea blue, and I had never used it to blend black. It's a little bright for me. I always use ultramarine blue because ultramarine to me got it darker, but so I'm just exploring with that because I want to get the color, the deepest kind of darkest parts of the center of our sun, or our sunflower. Yeah. So that is not, it's a little big, but my brush is a little big. So what I want to do is come over here, add some sap green, probably some phthalo green onto the palette, because I want to mix a little bit of green into this. Probably also should put it. Hey, William, thank you so much. I deeply appreciate you stopping by. I am glad you are enjoying. So let's mix a little green and come over and do the dark spots here. Again, with this large of a brush, it's going to be hard to get too much detail, which is tough and challenging, but is also helps if we're really going for that more impressionist style. Let me go in with this fairly dark green and also add the darkest parts of these shadows here, at least where I see them. It's very hard not to start drawing, which is what we want to avoid. We want to focus on light and shadow, form, shape, volume, because that's how you create the volume, meaning the 3D illusion in a 2D space. That's what I mean when I say create volume. So let me bring some more of this green over. A little bit of white, and I think I'm going to take a little bit of raw sienna. So that I get a little bit of a kind of yellowish green. See, we don't have to do too much detail to give the impression of what's going on. If we focus, if I can stay focused on specifically on, again, shape and light and shadow, then all of a sudden the rest starts to appear. And if I take this up in chroma just a little bit, bring in some more of the raw sienna, I think we end up almost with the color we need for the stalks. So let's put that in. Okay, now let's again step away. We did quite a bit on the leaves, just some blocks. Now before I start trying to draw, because I noticed myself, that's one of the things I think that's going to help me improve my ability quickly, or more quickly. I feel like I'm kind of getting to a plateau with what I do. But I believe that, oh, I'm sorry, I bumped the mic. I believe that focusing on kind of jumping around the picture like this can really help. So can paying attention to, like right there where I felt myself when I was doing the stalks, I felt myself start to want to draw again. I've mentioned that a couple of times. drawing versus looking at the big shapes. What are the shapes I'm trying? So now there is kind of a, actually it needs more of a, I think I need some of this color. I'm going to put crimson, not a crimson, but a brilliant red. That's probably way too much, but I want to bring in and do, I'm kind of looking for where are the shadow spots. So let's bring in a little bit of this red, because over here there is that top of that sunflower that is kind of the orange, but it's got kind of a reflective, at least that's what I'm seeing. The inside of the, probably needs a little more brown. What, let's bring that in. The problem with this is it's so translucent that it's hard to, you need kind of almost a base color. So I'm bringing in some green, which is complementary to the red, but then I have to add. So let's put, yeah, that's a little bit better. Kind of the spot we see there. Then we can put, I see little bits of it in there. I see some in here around the, and want a, I don't know if I'm doing this right. Okay. Hey there, Mom and Dad. Glad to have you. Hey there, cuz. Thanks so much for popping in. Appreciate it. I am trying to figure out what I'm doing tonight. So, all right. Let me mix a little bit of this green we had before. Go back in because I do want, there we go, some of this. Oh, that's even a better green. For there. Okay, now let's stop before I start drawing again. I know that feeling. Absolutely. Yeah, it's like, when am I done? And there, where I kind of went crazy, I see something I like, and so I go overboard. Um, and I think, especially with acrylics and acrylics in yellow, which is a challenge because it's so translucent. Um, yeah, it is. It is tough to know, and it's so important to layer, because layers really give texture and give depth. So yeah, that's all. I'm trying to learn all of that and figure all of that out. So welcome to my world. I feel your pain, Nola. So so I have the raw sienna, the burnt yellow ochre, and cad yellow here. So I'm kind of mixing all to see. This is kind of, I think, the shadow, kind of the deep tone yellow that I see. So I'm going to do kind of a deep tone yellow, a shadow yellow, and then do kind of mid-tones and on top of that. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. Okay. So we kind of had those in. There's some also a little bit, I want to mix a little bit of red so there's more of an orangish color. Reddish orange, that's kind of that reflection color. I want some of that in there too. I see it especially over here, right in this area. Okay. Now let me make kind of a mid-tone yellow. Want to really hold back on the brights as long as possible. Again, the problem with this is, look how translucent yellow is. That makes it a challenge to paint. All right, I'm going to pause for just a minute and step back from my painting just to see what's working and what's not. Really helps to step back about 6 or 8 feet. Overall, I'm liking it. Overall, I am not unhappy with this. So there are a few things I see. Immediately, I see that this is kind of misshapen. This bottom of this flower, need to kind of correct that. It's going to be a little bit hard because the yellow is so translucent. You can see that dark green right through it. So may have to do multiple layers on that. Wait till it really dries to be able to do that. The other thing I see is this now. I want this corner to be much lighter. It's much more, this blue-gray is now standing out more now that we have the yellows and greens and the warmer tones here. So I need to lighten that up. But overall, the composition and everything I'm really liking. So I think we're in a good place. Now, what I want to work on a little bit is taking some of this, darkening some of this so that the flowers really, and this will be deviating a little bit from the reference. I really want the flowers to be the central focal point of this painting. So let's see if we can make that happen. Let's take a little brown, burnt umber, and a little blue. See if we can create a pretty dark color that can kind of help the edges recede a little bit. We'll just explore right now. Maybe too dark, but maybe not. And this will make some of our leaf detail disappear back into the background as well, but that's okay. I'm adding just a little bit of white to raise the chroma of this mixture a little bit so that it blends with the darker behind it. And my goal is that this will also be a color which then the sunflowers will stand out more against, if that makes sense. So can always come back in and all of these textures should really work well for us in the long run. The more layers you have, the better texture you get. Obviously varying significantly from the deciding to go a lot more green. It looks peppermint on your screen, but it is more of a light yellow-green on mine, so we'll keep going with that. Not on mine, but on my canvas, so. I'll raise the chroma even more here. On this end. This will end up being the brightest end. Because I'm decided to vary so much with the original, I'm going to have to be extra careful that when I get done and I'm painting in the vase, that the shadows and the highlights match, even if the colors are different. So we'll see. Yeah, I hope I'm not messing this up, but I don't think I am. As Bob Ross used to say, you can't mess anything up. There are no mistakes, just happy little accidents. So we'll take it from the Godfather that there are no mistakes. They're just happy little accidents. Ooh, that's really bright blue. I didn't want that bright blue. So let's take it down a little bit. add a little brown to the blue, which is opposite on the color wheel. Basically, it's a brown is an orange, right? I mean, not quite, but it's a, yeah, so, oops, that's really not the color I'm going for. Or it's the color, but not the chroma. Let's see if we can lighten that up a little bit. Okay. Okay. Ah, thanks, Lola. Yeah, once I started painting it, I was really liking it more than kind of the brownish, reddish color that they had, which makes sense because kind of oranges or yellows and blues are kind of really complementary, right? So let's, by doing that, now let's take this up a little bit, even more. See if we can raise that. I want my brightest color still to be over here on this side. So and I think I'm going to give the illusion of this window by just bringing in, raising that, again, that chroma. When I say that, I just mean brightening this up, but not putting the definitive line that's in the reference. When I started, remember I put the line there, but I think just by lightening this and making it, blending it in, then it gives the illusion of the window there instead of like being very strict with it. So that's what I'm gonna, at least for now. May change my mind. Okay. Let's see, we're at about an hour. Let's see if we can wrap this up. We spent quite a bit of time on the background, adjusting the background. Now, let me see if I can. I'm going to do just a little bit more and then we'll go back to the flowers. Trying just very subtly Okay, let's step back. Clean out that brush. Now, I'm going to set this brush aside, pick up my filbert, which is a little bit smaller. Now, again, I'm going to have to really fight the tendency to want to draw, but let's see if we can do this. Let's go back and see what we need to do on the flowers. Let's remix kind of that mid-tone shadow, because we lost a lot of that when I painted over. All right. Notice over here on this side, I did kind of a more bluish brown. Because it's closer to the shadows, I'm cooling off that mid-tone, or cooling down the mid-tone. We'll do the same to kind of let me come in, mix. Now I'm going to take my brightest, I'm desaturating with white. I want to put that up here. Now I want to come down, even though it's the same color on the photo, I want to desaturate it a little bit, or saturate it a little bit to come in on this flower, so it's not quite as bright, but it still reads as bright color. We'll see if that's what it does. We need to do the same. The top of this, where the sun catches this flower the most. Needs to be a little more red, a little darker over here. These are kind of those shadow petals. What are y'all thinking? Anything? Think it's coming together. I think it is coming together. We just really need to pull together the leaves and stems again, and then finish our detail on the glass. So let's do our, we did a green, and then we want kind of this brownish color. Thank you for those of you who, the 3 or 4 of you that have stuck with me or are sticking with me. I appreciate you. All right, so Okay, y'all, I'm really starting to like this. One area I want to fix is kind of this center of the main this center of the main sunflower. So let's see if we can do that. To do that, I want to come in with a really dark brown, almost black. And kind of reconfigure this center. Then I want to just lighten it a little bit. Come in. All right, I think I'm going to have to work on this probably some more beyond this live stream, but we have a really good foundation, don't we? Really good foundation. All right, we are winding down to the wire for this evening, and I'm really pleased with what we've been able to accomplish in just a few short minutes together. So just kind of want to blend some of this out if I can. It obviously still needs some work, but I will continue working on this because I think this is one worth working on for sure. What do you all think? I am pretty pleased with how it is turning out. Just need to figure out if there's anything more I need to probably let it sit for a little bit and then come back to it in order to see what needs to be done. So I think I'm going to pause there. When I find myself going back to it and just making marks because I feel like I should make marks, then it really is time to take a break and come back to it with new eyes, because then the marks end up being much more intentional, much more effective. And thank you, Lola, for your kind encouragement. Sorry to make you guys tipsy again, but wanted to come back to front and center to kind of close out this evening. Let's get this tripod set. Okay, there we go. And so you can see behind me, it kind of is not, let me pull this up so you can see. Let me get rid of that, and actually maybe that will help. There we go. That's a pretty good image of what we have so far. I think I just need to come in and do a little further refining on the sunflowers, but I'm really loving this, and I think it might be one I might put a frame on, or a matte and frame, because it's really pretty. And I think going with the blue tones, the cooler tones, instead of the warm kind of reddish brown that was in the, if you remember the reference, cooling it down, putting the blues on it was a little, I think, a good choice. Let me see if I can not put so much glare on that. Okay, although then it's in our eyes, isn't it? There we go. So I think this was a good choice to do the blue tones with the sunflowers. I think it really draws the eyes even more there. Yeah, so I think that is a good plan. What I would ask of you is, if you are not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. Like I said, I plan to do these live streams every week, at least once a week. You can also check out my vlogs if you're interested in what's going on in my life. I try to do that every week. This week I posted a vlog where I went to a local reservoir and did a hike. So if you're at all interested in kind of life in the mountains, you're welcome to take a look at that. If you don't follow me on Instagram, please do so. You'll see my photos of, which I should have taken this evening, but photos of the process as I go through different paintings. You'll catch paintings that are not on the live stream that I just do throughout the week. And so you can really follow my growth and my development kind of real time. Every time that I step in front of the easel is a learning process. It's an attempt to grow, to push my boundaries. I'm really trying to stretch myself beyond what I'm capable of to try to break through and improve as quickly as possible. So it's a fun journey, and you can join the process there. That being said, I want to say a good night to you. I appreciate every single one of you who have joined for the live stream this evening. Those of you that join every week, I always appreciate having my friends on the stream. And it's great being able to interact with you and chat with you as I go. I really enjoy this being kind of a social outlet as well. So thank you for joining me. I will see you next time on the next live stream. Until then, have a great week and a good night, and I'll catch you next time.